Hello and welcome to Generational Wellbeing with Dr. Lum. Thank you for joining me here today, where I provide you with simple, practical tips on how to create sustainable, healthy habits for you and your family for generations to come. Thank you again for joining me here today. Please like, share, and subscribe. So today I will be talking about mental clarity and providing you with 3 things you can do to stay focused and energized throughout the year. I know as the year starts, we have so many goals, we have plans, and we have ideas on how to set and accomplish our goals for our health as we start. So today I will give you 3 things on how you can do that. Mental clarity. When I say mental clarity, what does that mean? It means just make it being in a it means being in a space where you're alert, you're focused, you're productive, you're making decisions as you plan to, and just being on the go. The opposite of that is in a state of brain fog where you're irritable, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, reactive with your kids. You've been in a situation where your kid may ask you a simple question and you immediately like, no, leave me alone. Usually when your body is in that state, that means your body is providing. Typically, when you find yourself in that state, it's an indication that there's need for a change. It's an indication that you're either getting to a point of either physical exhaustion or mental exhaustion, and that needs a change, right? So, if you don't make a change when you get to the place of either physical or mental exhaustion, what happens? We then proceeds to a place of overwhelm, exhaustion, depression, anxiety, and that downward spiral, which we don't want to end up in. So, I will today give you 3 things you can do to keep yourself from getting to that place of depression, anxiety, and other things I talked about. So the first thing I'll say is prioritize sleep and movement. So sleep, I would say, is one of the things that really is very important for your overall health and well-being, as far as your focus, your mental well-being, in every aspect. However, it's one of those things too that a lot of people do not really know the use of sleep, so it's easily abused. There's a saying that there's um, there's a saying that when you don't know the use of a thing, abuse is inevitable. Sleep is one of those things. And I say sleep is a thing where, think about it as a shop or a grocery store or any store for that matter. They close at some point so they can clean up the place, sanitize the place, reorganize the shelves, make sure everything is where it is, so that when they open the doors the next day, the customer knows exactly where to go get the stuff. If you go to a clothing store, for example, and the place is all disorganized and you can't find the right sizes, you can't find the other side of a pair of shoes you're looking for, chances are you're not likely going to go back to that store. Likewise with sleep. You have to sleep so your brain can clean up and reorganize everything the way it needs to. When you have restorative sleep, you wake up refreshed, energized, and your thoughts are more organized and you make decisions more rapidly than if you had lack of sleep. The other thing I'll talk about, like I said, is movement, prioritizing movement. Movement, unlike sleep, is one thing that I find that most people are more open to actually incorporating into their daily routine. However, though, it's one of those things that most people end up procrastinating on. And I'm going to go exercise, I'm going to do something after work, but then we all know that after work, you end up either tired, something has to be done, I have to stop by the grocery store, the kids need this and stuff, and then at the end of the day, we end up really not doing it. So my recommendation is really starting it at the start of the day. When you wake up in the morning, whether it's a morning walk, a morning yoga practice, is in the basement for something to get that body going, it's usually the best time. That way, one, you feel accomplished already at the start of the day, that part of it is taken care of already, and two, you're energized for the rest of the day. And remember, the way you start your day is the way your day will go. You're making decisions, you have mental clarity to go, and you just have a full of you're full of energy, and the way you present yourself really changes when you do that. So the second thing I'll talk about is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness is really key, especially for mental exhaustion. We have so many thoughts coming at us throughout the day. So it's really important to stop and really practice some sort of mindfulness. And there's so many techniques out there. Meditation is just one of them. And it's one that I find that most people feel overwhelmed at the start. I did. I remember when I first started meditation and I closed my eyes and like, okay, this is the quiet time. Before I knew it, my mind was racing. I was thinking about all the things I had to do on my list, grocery list, what I had to do with picking up the kids and stuff. And before I knew it, I was feeling guilty for sitting here doing nothing. And I had all these things to do. So I was overwhelmed. But as time went on and I started being intentional about adding it to my routine, it got better and better. And if meditation is something that you don't want to start with, that's okay, because there are other stuff. You can do yoga, you can do painting, you can do journaling. There's so many journals out there that will have paintings and affirmations on there too that will help. And you can get your kids involved when it comes to that too, where you teach them how to manage those big emotions, teach them breathing when they're in the middle of a temper tantrum or a very challenging situation. But guess what? You have to practice it with them daily so that when that time comes and you are now practicing it with them, it's easier to manage those challenging emotions that they feel each day. So mindfulness, practice mindfulness. Coloring, meditation, yoga, mindful walks, playing with Play-Doh. You can even do that, or building, working on a project with your kid. That distracts you from all the things that are going. And in addition to that, you're spending time with your kids too. So it's a win-win situation there. And the final thing I'll talk about is eating healthy. I do see a lot of deficiencies in adults and kids. And with testing kids, I find that most kids are deficient in iron and in vitamin D. Those two are huge. And when you're deficient in those two key minerals and many others though, you have mood dysregulation, fatigue, interrupted sleep, irritability, and stuff like that. So you want to really be intentional about adding foods that are high in iron, vitamin D, B12, and those key nutrients that your body really needs to function. What are the foods that are high in these? Asparagus, broccoli, beans, salmon, sardines, avocados. Those are good options where with each meal you can be intentional about adding those. So for a typical breakfast, you can have an avocado egg sandwich with whole grain bread and add some kind of a vegetable with your lunch, maybe asparagus or broccoli or carrots. And dinner, just be intentional about adding those key nutrients. Now, there's some cases where you may need additional supplementation to the meals you're currently taking. In those cases, I do recommend that you talk to your doctor and get your levels checked before you actually start taking those supplements, because I've also seen on the other end of the spectrum a lot of people who have very high levels of these key nutrients as well, and you don't want to be in that state either. So talk to your doctor, see if you need to supplement in addition to eating healthy, and make sure you're getting some kind of balance there. The second thing is give yourself your gut some rest. Every now and then we need to really be show our gut some love, by taking a break from those foods that are difficult to digest, foods that are high in inflammation, processed sugar, highly refined foods, gluten and dairy. Those are the big ones where it increases inflammation. And when you're in that state, you're in a state of brain fog and you can't really think clearly and do what you need to do. So take a few I would say gut rest breaks from the processed foods and just love your body and provide it with the stuff it needs. It will go a long way, not only for your mental clarity, but it also will help boost your immune system and help you to fight disease. So, three things: prioritize sleep and movement, practice mindfulness, and eat for your health. I hope this resonates with you. Let me know if you have any questions, comment, and let me know what other topics you'd like for me to talk about. Thank you for listening. This is Dr. Lum.